So, you're a Muslim struggling to find your first paying client, or maybe you're struggling with the fact that you're constantly having to lower your prices. Now, imagine for a second landing your first client and getting paid 2, 3, 4K a month. Sounds incredible, right? But the real question is, how do you attract clients who are willing to pay that? And how do you do it in a way that aligns with the values as a Muslim? Because the reality of today is that anyone can make money, but making it in a halal way requires good intention, integrity, and the right approach. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to get your first high-ticket clients as a Muslim. And to be honest with you, getting your first client is very hard. This is something that upfront you must understand and realize. I mean, your first sales call can be very nerve-wracking, but your 50th will feel more casual. And also, your first 100 outreaches can be very hard, but your second 100 will feel much easier. It is all about consistency and determination. If you work on it step by step every single day, you will improve and things will go easier by time, inshallah. And our Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, "The most beloved of deeds to Allah are those that are done consistently, even if they are small." Now, my promise to you is that at the end of this training, you will be able to get your first client if and only if you are implementing all of the things that I'm saying over here, and you're willing to work very consistently on this, inshallah. And we are going to do that by implementing these 3 steps. First, we start with creating an offer. Then we start with effective outreaching. And finally, you need to make sure that you have high converting sales calls. Let's start off with step 1. Because before we can start reaching out, we need an offer. And not just an offer, but a very good offer. But what you need to keep in mind is also that before you can create a good offer, you must make sure that you have picked a big problem niche, which will be the target audience that you will be focusing on, and that you have picked a high valued service, your business model, the thing that you're going to help your clients with. And I'll not explain this in detail in this video because I've done it much more often on other videos on my YouTube channel. So make sure to check them if you're not familiar with these terms. But what I want you to know is that it's very important that you have chosen a big problem niche and chosen a high valued service before you start making an offer. Now, let's create that offer, shall we? And it might surprise you, but you are going to offer to work for free. Yes, you're hearing that right, for free. For the first 14 to 30 days, and only for the first 2 to 5 clients. And the reason for that is that you're new in the market. You probably, when you're starting out, have no experience, you have not mastered the skill yet, and you have no results that you can show them. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala promises in the Quran, verily with hardship comes ease. Verily with hardship comes ease. So right now, the most important thing is that it's time to build a good portfolio first. Because a good portfolio and track record will allow you to scale 2 times faster. But do you want to know the fun part? You're not just going to say, I'm going to work for free. No, you will say, normally I'll charge, well, let's say $1,500 for this service, but I want to work for free for 14 days or 30 days and give you this result. So you're going to give them a very clear result that you're going to promise them in those 14 or 30 days. And I want to use our partnership for my portfolio. So no matter what, you're going to start building on your portfolio. And then you say to your client, if you are happy with the results, you will become a paying client. And not only that, you will also recommend me to at least 2, 3, or 4 other people in your network. And that way, it's much easier to capture your first client. Because who's saying no to such a good offer, right? And that allows you to start working on getting the results, leading to you getting a lot more experience and being able to learn for free. And if things go well, you can even make your first money within the 40 to 30 days. And if you're delivering the right results, this first client will also recommend you to 2 to 3 other people, which means you are able to get a lot of clients in a very short period of time. But only if you are able to then also get the results that you promised them. Because your offer is not the price. Your offer is also not the systems and the service that you provide. It's all about the dream outcome for your client, the value that you can produce and the results that you can get for them. It must make sure that your client goes from where he is right now to his dream. And normally there are a lot of people promising it, for example, with very big expensive websites or services like SMMA and Google Ads, Meta Ads, whatever. But you are just going to offer the straight line for free with a big guarantee. And there are 4 things that this offer should consist of. It's a clear timeline, a dream outcome, like I said, a guarantee, and a risk reversal. Now, let's look at an example. I will help you to get 50,000 views on your social media accounts within 30 days, or you don't pay me, and I will work for free until I do. Now, let's break down this offer. It consists of a dream outcome and a guarantee, which is 50,000 views. Then it also contains a time frame, because we are saying within 30 days, so there's a deadline, the client knows exactly what to expect, and there's a risk reversal. So if you don't hit these targets, the client doesn't pay, and you are even offering to work for free until you do. So there's literally nothing to lose for your client. And you can use this outline for every kind of service. You just need to make sure that it's interesting for you, but also for your client, because then you will get the best partnerships. And let me give you one extra bonus tip, because what I've experienced, if you just offer to work for free without an upfront payment, then the commitment of the client sometimes is not very good. Even though you're providing the services to him, sometimes clients can even say, oh, thank you for the service, but I don't want to pay for it. Or so, thank you, but I don't want to continue the partnership. So there's a big risk for you in it as well. So what you can do is you can also say, all right, I'm going to work for free, but I'm going to charge you the amount upfront. But if you don't hit the results, you will send all of the money back. You can do that with a contract, just make sure that it's on paper, but that way you have the same offer, but the client is already used to paying you. And this is something you can test around with a little bit. But keep in mind that our experience is that this works better than just working for free without an upfront payment. And the beautiful thing about that is that after those 30 days or 40 days, you can start charging for your services because your client already understands that if you hit the results, then the contract just goes on. So it's a very great way to not only get your client, but also make sure that he's used to already paying on a monthly basis, you know? And these are very great ways to provide a good offer as a beginner, because you're competing with all of these big agencies, these big people that have a lot of clients already. And the best way to higher your chances of getting good clients is by using this offer. But you have to realize that you're not there yet with just a good offer. Of course, it's very important that you deliver the results, but that's just how it works in business. If you're not able to provide value, aka results, then you're just not interesting to work with for anyone. And our Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said it as well. Verily, Allah loves that when any of you does a job, you should perfect it. For us as Muslims, it's very important that what we do in the best way. Now, let's get into step 2, effective outreach. Because once you have your offer ready, it's time to start outreaching. And before we can start outreaching, the goal is to create a list of people in your niche. And not just a list of people, but people that you genuinely want to help and want as a client. Because the niche, of course, is very important, but also for us as Muslims, it's very important that we work with people that uplift us, that inspire us, and that are in line with our values as a Muslim. And the list can just be as simple as this. It can just be a spreadsheet that you open on Google. And what you write down in there are their contact details, such as their Facebook account, Instagram, YouTube, mail address, whatever. Now you might be asking yourself, how do I get all of these contact details? Well, just search. It's actually very simple. You can just open Instagram, LinkedIn, or TikTok, go to the search bar and type in fitness coach, car detailing. You can search on hashtags, just anything related to your niche. And you will see that there are popping up a lot of people. And then you can just start looking on profiles that you want to help and write all of the details that you can find in your spreadsheet. And one extra tip is once you've found someone that is really fitting to the perfect ideal client for you, then you can click on his profile, see who he is following, or you can look at the suggested accounts, because most of the time those are people that are in your niche as well. Once you have your list ready, you can start with outreaching. And we will do that with a hyper-personalized Loom outreach strategy, which actually means that to all of the contacts that you have listed in your spreadsheet, you're going to send them a personalized video. And you do that by using the software Loom, which is very easy to install on your computer. They just have a free account for your first 25 videos, and after that, it's just like $20 a month or something like that. You will record a video, send it to them, make sure that you follow up, and then your goal is to schedule a call with this ideal client. And this is a strategy that I've used so many times within my own agency. I mean, I've sent hundreds of videos like these. And the beautiful thing is that they are very personal and therefore working quite well. And it's not just a general video that you send to everyone. No, it's an exclusive video, a personalized video that you send to every one of those contacts. And yes, that can take a little bit more time, but the outcome will be better as well. So what you're actually doing is you record a Loom for each and every person and then send it to them on all platforms. You send it to them on Instagram, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, to the email address if you have found that. Any contact details that you can find, you will send it to them on there. And the way you record a video is by starting personal. You can make a little comment about something that you found of him online. You can say something about his website. You can say something that you saw. You can say something about a recent post on social media or anything like that. Make sure that you start it personal. Make sure that you start it personal and not too salesy. Then you're going to give and provide some good value. Then first, you're going to give some good value and tips to let them see and feel that you understand them and understand the market and understand their current situation. And those value and tips, you can relate those value and tips to problems that they're currently experiencing. For example, your website is currently not responsive. Your social media accounts are not getting views. Your business is not getting leads. This is how you can do it. And then very briefly, you pitch what you do and invite them to a quick call. And that pitch in here is actually the offer that we just created. And then you have a quick little video that you can send to everyone. Just make sure that this video is not more than 3 to 5 minutes long. And also make sure that you're not trying to sell them something. Just make it a nice, organic, great video that they will truly enjoy watching. And then, once they show interest after you sending the video, you are going to book a call with them. And make sure that that's a video call, because that's more personal and therefore also has a higher chance of you closing that client. You can do that on Google Meet or Zoom or whatever. Those platforms are free to use. But if you're not getting any response after sending that video, then you just need to follow up. And no, not every single moment of the day, because that can be very annoying to this person, but just every 2 to 3 days. But just send him a little reminder every 2 to 3 days. And also make sure that after you've sent 3 to 5 follow-ups, if they still haven't replied, you can move on. And trust me, out of the 100 videos that you send, you would be lucky if you have like 10 replies and maybe 2 to 3 calls. Just make sure that you be consistent, because the money is in the follow-ups and in the volume. But being consistent is not that hard for us, right? Because as a Muslim, you've already learned how to be consistent through your salah, your daily prayers. And you just need to do the same here. Just make sure that you schedule a few hours a day to reaching out to people. Because doing sales and acquisition is one of the most important things to do as the business owner, especially in the beginning. Your time should be completely focused on letting the business grow. And of course, here in this video, I'm focused on that Loom strategy that I told you. But you can also do this with cold calling, email, LinkedIn automation, etc., etc. Just make sure that you reach your niche in the best way and give them an irresistible, amazing offer. Now, after you created a good offer and started with effective outreaching, inshallah wa ta'ala, you have your first sales calls on your schedule. And let me give you some quick tips and an outline on how I do these sales calls myself. And every sales call must start with you introducing yourself and setting the expectations right. Which means that you briefly introduce yourself and just only give the relevant things, and then set the intention for this call by saying, amazing that you're here. Today we're going to look if there's a fit and if I can help you with ABC, with your service. And if there's no fit, then we will not work. So it's also important that you say to them that this is a call to make a decision. Then they already understand in the beginning of the call that they are about to make a decision. And if it's not something that is for them, then it's also okay if they're saying no, because we're not going to sell them something that they don't need. And make sure that this takes not more than 1 to 2 minutes. Then you directly get into asking questions. Yes, you're going to ask a lot of questions, because the one that is asking the questions in the sales call is in lead of the conversation. And you're not going to ask them some general stupid questions. No, you're going to find the problems that you can solve in here by asking things like, what is currently the biggest bottleneck in your business? What is holding you back from reaching that goal? Have you ever worked with these kinds of services before? And this can take the biggest part of the whole conversation. Because like I said, by you asking the questions, put you in lead of the conversation. And it's very nice for your potential client because he's talking most of the time. The biggest problem that a lot of people are making in sales calls is like 80% of the time they're like pitching something. But sales is not about pitching something. Sales is more like consulting. You're literally going to search for the problem, and if there's a good problem, then you're going to help them. So after you've asked all of your questions, you can start with the pitch. The way that works is actually during that call, you must always make sure that you grab your notes with you. For all of the questions that you ask them, you write down little by little all of the answers that they're giving that you can use later on. Because the whole goal of that pitch is that you connect their problem with your offer. Because you are the solution to their problem. Whether it's getting a better website, getting more leads, growing their social media, whatever. And then after you've made that offer, you just ask them, what do you think about it? And then probably there will be some objections that you have to handle. Because most of the time, potential clients really love to ask very critical questions, so you need to be ready for that. They're going to give you a lot of objections. Oh, but what if we don't get the results? How much time does it take for me? There are a lot of questions that they might be asking you. But just make sure that you always go back to their problem. Make sure that their problem is bigger than those little objections. Then, after you've handled the objections, it is time to make the close, which you only do once your potential client is ready to make the step. And there are 3 ways to make the close. You can either collect the payment upfront, or you let them sign a contract. You do those things like literally in the call, not after the call, or they're just giving you a go without a payment or a contract. But that's very risky because nothing has been made very official. The best thing that you should strive for is getting a payment on that sales call. If you're not able to do that, you can let them sign a contract. And if you're not able to do that, you can just ask them if you can start working. And once you implement all of these steps, little by little, work on a consistent basis every single day, don't stop, learn from every mistake, and be willing to constantly be rejected by your potential clients, then you will be able to get your first clients, inshallah wa ta'ala. Just understand that this process will be hard. It's not going to be easy. But I hope that this video and the strategies that I've shared with you here today will make it a little bit more easier for you. I'm rooting for you. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make you successful in both this world and the next one. And I'll see you in the next video. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.